Hey everyone, welcome back to today's masterclass. And today we're going to be talking about the 10 top questions that you should be asking your builder, either on a new construction or a remodeling project. And we think we've got some really good ones in here, and we're going to give you which ones we think are first, second, third, obviously through 10, and then also why we think they're probably the most important questions you want to ask before you really do anything uh, design wise or really start getting into any selections or anything like that.
And this is just going to help you be more comfortable in this process and figuring out who you're going to be working with through this very important project. It's a large investment. We understand that. And so we've got some questions here that are going to help you choose who to work with.
I think if you've been watching our master classes, you can probably guess what our first one's going to be. And what is true design build? And really how to pick a firm that that is really design build and not just calling themselves design build.
We've talked about the benefits of working with a design build firm on a number of master classes. So that is truly the first question. Are you a true design build firm?
Is it all under one roof? Not, yes, I can do design build and I'll go find the architect, I'll go find the engineer, I'll find the interior designer, that's going to help me with my selections. And I think really the main reason that we want to do design build from start to finish is that you're going to get construction costs right off the bat.
It's going to be seamless. You're working with the same team throughout the course of the project. You're getting to be able to provide input into your design for your project, your home. So that's one of the many keys that's involved with working with a design build firm.
And one team. One team, you have one person to go to, not, oh, the architect or the designer left this off. So that's why I didn't include it on the bid. No, it's all under one roof. There's no pointing fingers. You've got everybody under one roof, one team, everybody working together.
So what I found the next question is how do you establish and control the budget? Again, being the same team, we're all focusing on making sure that we're working within the established budget, working with you from the beginning. The initial design phase, preliminary designs, working to create designs that are working within that budget and allowing you to control. Do you want to add some things that may push it outside the envelope, outside of the budget? But again, you're in control.
Right.
You're making those decisions. If it is taking over the investment level, but then we work together to how to bring it back in. Maybe changing some things in other areas that will allow us as a team to keep stay on budget.
And I think a key part of that whole thing is being part as a design build, true design build, allows us to really establish that budget. And really what kind of influences a lot of what we do is the building science. And so with that approach in mind, we're gonna evaluate, like you said, right? Okay, this may be the best option, but maybe this doesn't work in the budget. And so how does that influence everything? And through insulation, HVAC, all the mechanicals. And basically we can help you figure out what is important to you. Is it a tankless system? Is it a heated floor system? What are the important things and what are things that aren't so important? And that way we can help, control that budget by focusing on the things that are important.
We spend a lot of time focusing on how this project is going to come together. When we're in the design process, thinking through it, talking about, you and I are saying, what are we going to come across and what have we come across before on previous projects that are similar? And so we're foreseeing that, including that in the preliminary portion of the design process and the estimating. So that it's not a change order halfway through the project.
Right.
We're staying on budget because we've already thought about this and we've presented it. And we know that the project can continue through and we can work in the established investment level and make it work for you.
Which really leads us to the next one, which is how do you manage selections and changes? And that's really, I think these three things could be somewhat interchangeable as number 1, 2, and 3, but those three things are really probably the three most important questions to ask somebody. And you know, the am I having to go to somebody else to make these selections? Is it left all to me to make these selections? And how do you deal with changes? Which we know no matter what, you can plan everything, and there's going to be changes as you move through the project.
Well, we can help you through this process. We have systems in place through Builder Trend for tracking where the selection costs are coming in. That's one of the great things that clients like about that.
And we're going to help them make each of the selections, and they can be as involved as they want. We have some people that are super involved, and then we have other people that are, this is generally what I like. You make the selections and then bring it back to me, and then they do the final sign off one, but we make the majority of the selections throughout the whole process.
And going back to through the design process again with the same team, we're getting a great feel for what you're looking for, and we don't want to plug in $1,000 for a stove where it sounds like you're looking for an upgraded professional level of appliance, and it doesn't do any good to plug in $1,000 for something like that. Well, we know that it's going to cost more, so we want to be very realistic in the allowances that are in there, so that helps. You know that, look, they have put in an amount, so I can feel comfortable selecting this type of tile or this type of appliance.
And I think the key thing is Builder Trend. The app is on your phone. You're able to take pictures, you're able to share everything with us, but then you can go to the selections, you can go to your contract, and you can see where the allowances are as you're making this selection. So you know exactly where you are, you know what we've had in there, and then where you are as you selected different items. And then you know the total if you go to the sheet. There's many different things. That's one of the things we do is we sit down and we show you exactly how to quickly be able to go through it. It is very user friendly, I would say. I mean, you don't really have to have a whole lot of knowledge. You open the app and you can do a lot of different things on it.
And it allows you to say, you know what, I'm going to spend a little bit more here, but look, I found this, I can save some money here, and this is how I still am on track for the total allowance.
Which is definitely something that you want to ask whoever you're interviewing for your next project. How are you communicating with me? Is it through a spreadsheet? Is it through emails and texts? Or do they have an app that they work with that really is going to enhance the overall experience of the project, which we think Builder Trend definitely does. Number 4, Craig, is who will be my point of contact for the project, which I think goes back to the team and certainly design build, but go ahead and just explain a little bit what that means.
Well, throughout the design phase, it's myself, and then we're bringing in our project manager.
Right.
You're part of the production and scheduling and overall management of the project. So it's really all of us as a team, as you mentioned, and it's very important that you'll have someone on your job site when the project starts who you can communicate with. He's there throughout the project. It's not someone that's just stopping by once a day to see how the project's going. You're gonna know who that is. So we've assigned that project manager, and that is key.
And the beauty is that there really is a handoff. It's not like, oh, okay, now Craig's done and I'm gonna hand it over to this person, and then you're never gonna see Craig or myself again. Everybody's involved throughout the whole process, throughout from beginning design all the way to the end.
Exactly, and I've been there since the beginning and working with you to create this design, and we know what things are important to you, and we make sure, and that gets relayed to the field. And so I'm in the office working constantly with the project manager and with you, and making sure that this gets built to the way you envisioned it.
And that really goes hand in hand with number 5, which is, how do you handle permitting and engineering? And really that goes into not just structural engineering, but civil engineering and everything else. And it's a key question to ask, because you can tell a lot about a company by how that's answered. And no, I'm gonna have you go to the civil engineer, then come back to me, and then we'll start the construction, which we hear a lot from people that come to us finally, where they've been to the other builders, hearing that, well, I had to go to the civil engineer, then I had to go, and how do I know what to tell the civil engineer to do?
Or I had to pull my own permit
Yeah.
or something like
Right.
that.
Right.
Or worst case, you've got a design that you think that you've worked with someone and they've created this design, you think it's gonna work, and then they get it over to the engineer and he says, no, we've gotta take out this open space, and we've gotta add these beams and put a column here. But
Or
our
to the
experience,
civil engineer too. So then it's like, okay, well, now I need to go back to the architect or the designer to
Yeah.
make these
rework the
changes.
space, it's
Right.
too big.
Yep.
Too small, but there's challenges that can come up there, but our experience allows us to be ahead of that, or even work with our engineers and say, this is what we need to get done, how do we make it happen? That's also the key. It's not just no, it can't be done.
Right. And the key to the whole thing is a builder that handles all those things is really gonna save money and time. I
Yep.
mean, those are the two big things. And when you start going back and forth, the architect's gonna start redesigning, and then the civil engineer says, okay, well, that's great, but now I can't fit this on the property. And then the structural engineer says, like you said, well, where's the beam going? Where's the columns going? And then that's back to the architect.
It's always gonna be, how can we get this done? That's the key question.
And I don't think Alexa's gonna help us in any of those things, but you can ask, maybe she does know some answers. So really, that's a big thing. Number 6 is, can I see examples of past work? And that's very telling about what have they done projects like you're thinking about doing. And then also, am I able to talk to those clients? I will say that on a lot of our projects, we're not always able to go back and tour those homes. They're in gated communities and things like that. But we have pictures of everything, and you can always talk to the homeowner that we've done work with just recently and then years ago. So you're not just getting someone that we just finished up
Sure.
with. You're getting someone that 10 years ago we did a project for. And then anything we have current, usually we can do some sort of walkthrough or some sort of potential drive-by and things like that. So that's certainly a big, you want somebody that has done a number of the projects that you're looking to do and is very familiar with not just the design process, but the permitting and the finish part. How do you handle communications during the project? And of course, some of that's with Builder Trend.
Yep, we touched on that, and again, we're all still involved as a team. It's not just a handoff. Your project is now in production, out in the field, and the project manager's handling it. No, we're still getting questions and asking them questions and asking you questions and still, we've talked about this in other master classes. How are we improving the design if we are working through the project and saying, you know what? This looked great on paper, but now that we're seeing it, what if we move this window over a little bit, right? And you're walking through there, what if we open this room up a little bit? Those kinds of things. It's never ending, so there is the open communication and we're still here for you throughout the course of the project.
And we have a lot of clients, and this is certainly something that you want to ask, because we have clients that are not close by, and then we have many clients that are out of state, especially on our new builds. So we use Builder Trend once again, and we use the, we videotape, we put that up there, we do the daily logs, and then we do a weekly log that just kind of summarizes what happened that week, what's happening the next week, and kind of tells them, are we waiting for some answer from them? You know, is it a selection answer, or has there been a design change that we need to really keep on top of? So really, it's just keeping everyone in the loop so that there's no surprises. Oh, I didn't know that you needed that on Tuesday. You know, it's oh, okay, I know that this is due on Tuesday. I know that I need to get back to you, or we need to get back to them with something that, you know, a question that they had about why we were doing something. So the first 7, I think, could almost be interchangeable, but certainly one of the things that we get asked all the time is, you know, how are the subs managed and who manages them?
Mm-hmm.
We get a lot of times clients come in and they say, I felt like this was my second job because I was out there telling the subs what to do. I was explaining to them what was on the plans and things like that. And one of the things that we do is we have a project manager there every day. And it's not just an hour here or there every day. It's the whole day. They're there from start to finish while the subs are there.
He's on your project and he's assigned to it and he's your point of contact. And Scott or myself in the office. But you know, if you're living in the house during the project, he's the person to go to and
right, ask whatever questions. Yeah. I mean, how else are you going to know what's happening, and if you want to make changes, you know, how to get, you know, does this make sense? Is it something that can be done? Really, that project manager is the first step in it. Then obviously it comes to us, and then we work through it. And it keeps the consistency of the project going, and the timeline is pushed. Where if you're just stopping by for an hour a day or an hour every other day, there's really, you don't know what the subs are doing. So then number 9 is, you know, what is the warranty? You know, how is the warranty addressed? What is the, you know, what is that support after you're gone and we're not on the project anymore? How do I get back in touch with you? What is the process? And do you come back out? And I know a lot of people, you know, our warranty is after the first year we come back out, and obviously if there's other things we address them immediately. But after the first year is where we come back out, no matter if it's a new build or a remodel, we know that there's going to be caulking, we know that there's going to be painting, we know that there's going to be fine tuning of different things, cabinets and doors and things like that. And that's why we come back out with everybody at the 1-year mark and try to get everything, you know, squared away and painted and whatever's needed.
As I've said, we've built a relationship throughout this entire process with you, and we want to be the next phase of the addition or the next project that you're thinking about. We want to be there for you, and so the service is part of what we do, and making sure, even if it's a question, hey, you know, how does this system operate again? You just give us a call, and we're here to help. We're supporting the project that we've worked with you on. So it's just a part of building this relationship and continuing relationship.
And the last question, which you know, you could probably add some others that you would wanna ask, I mean, but. This question, I like it because we get asked all the time, and you can tell a lot about the builder by how they answer this question. What sets you apart from other builders and remodelers? And if someone just says, "Oh, well, we do quality work," or I'll say sort of the blanket statements. That's really not the answer you're looking for. Do they use building science? Is that part of their whole structure? Is how do things come together? How do we make things better? And one of the things that we get asked all the time is well, why do you want me to call you in 2 or 3 years when something may be out of warranty? Because we want to know what's happening with those systems in the house. And if there is an issue with it, we want to be able to address it. And then also we know for the next time, maybe what we need to do is slightly different than what we did this time to have that system work a little differently.
Being part of the team is important, but doing something that's outside the box is really sets us apart.
Right.
We love a great challenge. We want to figure out again how to get to yes. How can we get this done?
We've never built the same house twice,
Yeah.
which I think tells a little bit about us and how we like to do things. And we're always, a lot of builders, we hear all the time, "Oh, well, we've never used this, so we don't want to do that." And we're the opposite. We want to learn as much about the new products that are out there, knowing the good ones and the bad ones.
We'll do the research to bring the best product to you.
Which I think brings us all the way back to question number one, which is the build design approach, which we know is the best approach, no matter who you choose for your next new build or remodel. Design build is the only way to go. Having everything under one roof, knowing that what you've said is what's going to end up being the end result and not an excuse that it didn't get put on the plans or this is different than what I thought it was going to be or something like that. So if you're thinking about a new build or a remodel, certainly give us a call or go on our website and fill out our contact form. We're interested to talk to you about your next project, and we'd be happy to sit down and go through these questions with you specifically for your project.
Yes, give us a call and we'll go through the information we talked about today and more and make sure that we're a good fit for you and your project, which I know we will be.
Yeah.
And we'd love to hear more about what you're interested in or what your project is.
Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you and have a great day.